What if he had said yes? What if the rich young man had said yes to Jesus' invitation? After all, he had followed the commandments. He was a good Jewish boy. You shall not kill. Check. You shall not commit adultery. Check. You shall not steal. Check. You shall not bear false witness. Check. You shall not defraud. Check. Honor your father and your mother. Check. He had observed all the commandments from his youth. He had done everything right. He was sincere in his Judaism. And he had everything a man could dream of. And yet, he was not satisfied. Notice, Jesus didn't search for him. The rich young man searched for Jesus. Eternally unsatisfied in his perfect observance, he looked for the Lord. And upon encountering Jesus, Jesus asked him to surrender the things that gave him security. Those possessions that made him feel on the top of the world. Those things that made him feel secure and in control. Jesus asked of him what he didn't ask of many others. Jesus was more demanding of this man. He was asking more of him. Jesus didn't want him just to be part of the crowd. He wanted him to become one of his disciples. And in order to become a disciple, he had to let go. He had to let go what gave him power, authority, status, his personal agendas, his possessions that ended up possessing him. But he just couldn't handle it. He just couldn't handle it. So his face fell. The translation tells us. Stignazo is the word in Greek. Jesus, looking at him, loved him and said to him, "You are lacking in one thing. Go sell what you have, give to the poor, and you will have a treasure in heaven, and then come and follow me." And at that statement, his face fell. He was shocked at the words of Jesus. The word can also be translated as his face became dark. Stignazo is the word in Greek. It's the opposite of when your face lights up. Like when you fall in love and suddenly your face lights up. It's the opposite. Indeed, he had found true love. But he said no to true love. And so his face became dark. Stignazo. And he went away sad. The Greek lupomenos can also be translated as he went away grieving. Grieving. It was indeed like a death, because at that very moment, the disciple he was about to become, that disciple, died, because his answer to Jesus' invitation was no. What if he had said yes? I wonder. Actually, our Holy Scriptures are full of examples of many yes. For example, Mary's fiat, that's her yes. She had to trust the impossible. The yes of the apostles, the yes of Peter, of James, of John, the yes of Andrew, of Thomas, and the other apostles. The yes of Mary Magdalene. When Jesus told them, "Come, follow me," and they did, that was their yes. They left house, brothers, sisters, mother, father, children, lands, for his sake and for the sake of the Gospels. And they received all these things together with persecutions, because that's the price of discipleship. I think also of the yes of Joseph of Arimathea. Joseph of Arimathea was a rich man. Otherwise, he would not have been able to donate his family tomb for the proper burial of the body of Jesus on Good Friday. And not only that, he did not nickel and dime for the Lord's funeral when he showed up with 100 pounds of spices to embalm the body of Jesus. For Jesus, only the best. This could have killed him, Joseph of Arimathea. He took a high risk. Joseph of Arimathea could have ended like Jesus by coming as a public disciple of the one who was just crucified. But he didn't mind. He took the high risk, because for the Lord you have to take risks. But in the New Testament, there is another very important yes to Jesus' invitation. The yes is a yes of a rich, wise man. He prayed and prudence was given him. He pleaded and the spirit of wisdom came to him. He preferred wisdom to scepter and throne, and deemed riches nothing in comparison to wisdom, nor did he liken any priceless gem to wisdom. That rich, wise man was not even Jewish. But one day, he got his two best buddies, and he, with his other two friends, was called to surrender his most precious treasure at the feet of the King of Kings and Lord of Lords. It would have been easier if the palace of the king he was about to visit would have been located across the street, but that was not the case. For this wise, rich man, the journey was actually long through a desert. His GPS was a star. Little did he know that the King of Kings could not talk. The king was a baby. But that didn't matter. The wise, rich man had to surrender his treasure, his coffer of gold. Because all gold in view of wisdom is like sand. The camel of this rich, wise man indeed passed through the needle. So it is possible to surrender it all before the king. It is possible to say yes to his invitation to discipleship, but not on our own efforts. It is only possible with the help of God. What if the rich young man of the gospel had said yes on that day? Or better yet, what if we say yes every day? Amen.